Hi, welcome to BS Garage. On this one, I ditched this guy, and can I point? I'm going with. Look, I built that. That's what we're doing on this one. Let's go. So it's 22 days right now until Hot Rod Power Tour starts. So I gotta have this thing like completely done. It's pretty good to go. Like I'm not really worried about it. It should be fine. I've been driving around quite a bit, running errands around town, stuff like that, and it's performing really well. I got the tune dialed in good. It's nice and safe, and it does what I want it to do, and it doesn't do anything weird. So all that's really left to do is just like nitpick stuff. And I know I said I was gonna do like a backseat, build a backseat from scratch. I'm still gonna do that, but just not in this one. I'm gonna take a little bit of a break from interior. What I'm gonna work on today is the intake tube. If you guys have been following along, I don't really like this. I mean, this was just a little quick deal in order to get it going. It just looks too Home Depot-y to me, I guess. So I'm gonna do a series of pie cuts, weld them all together, kind of make this a little bit more straight into an HD clamp. I got some aluminum pipe here, the same stuff that I just kind of used for that over there, but you know, the rest of the section there. And then I have kind of like a knockoff HD clamp. I got this thing on Amazon. It's a lot cheaper than like a vibrant unit or whatever. I would not put boost to this whatsoever. Like, it's good for what I'm doing it for, but like boost in it instead of vacuum sucking it, like that's a huge difference. So my application, this is gonna work fine. And this part is gonna go onto the pre-existing part that like kind of bolts to the fender there. You'll see it when it's done. But anyway, I gotta get set up right now. And then this pipe cleaned up, and I need to make marks and getting ready to make my pie cuts. And I'll kind of explain that as I go along. Full disclaimer, I am not a professional TIG welder at all, but this is the way I go about it. I'm using a green tungsten because I'm gonna be welding aluminum. I went ahead and I cut it up into 3 sections. I'm gonna take these, the way I sharpen them, I'm gonna chuck them in my drill. I'm gonna spin my drill as I spin a cutoff disc on here and just kind of hit it on the edge. So that's spinning while that's spinning, and it should get you the correct angle that you want, depending on the angle that you put it at. So that's the way I go about it. It's a quick and easy way. You don't need a fancy tungsten sharpener. Those things are dumb and expensive. And for what I do, because I'm not on a professional level, garage stuff, this is gonna work just fine. There we go. So now I have 6 tungsten sharpened and ready to go, because you know what's gonna happen? I'm gonna dip it. Totally gonna dip it. I always do. You will too. Everybody does it. So you can quickly swap it. You're not stopping, you're not wasting time by going through and keeping on sharpening these things. So this hopefully should get me through the whole project, but probably not because, you know, amateur. Next up, in order to get going on the pie cuts themselves, I need to mark out equal and opposite lines on the tube. So the way I did that, super simple, piece of tape, wrapped it around, mark it on one side so that when you untape it, that's the mark, that's the mark. Measure the distance, half of it, draw a line, put it back on after you mark it one time. The way I make a straight mark too is just a piece of angle aluminum. It'll sit flat on there, it'll fit square on there. One line, and then you put that line on the line. I'm saying line a lot, but I hope you guys understand this. Wrap the tape around. When you wrap the tape around, it'll show you your halfway mark, which is this guy here. Then you mark that, and then do the same thing. Angle aluminum, square it up, draw a line, opposite equal. And that's the way we're gonna go about it. And I think I'm gonna do 18-degree cuts. So the first one will be straight 9, 18, 18, 18, 9, straight. And that should be 90, but I mean, we gotta play with it because these aren't exact angles. Like that's 90, but like less than 90. So I don't know. I'm just gonna start cutting some 18s out and just kind of play with it, tape it all up, and see where I need to go from there. I got plenty to work with, so just make quite a few of them, clean them up, and then start mocking everything up. This is how I went about setting up my chop saw. So I have this at a 9-degree angle because 9 plus 9 is 18. And then you cut it, and then when you twist it, you get an 18-degree pie cut because 9 and 9. This is my line, my mark line, and I line it up on the top of here because it's just a reference. And then every time I do it, I turn it, and then that's my reference. I set up my distance in order to make sure that I had enough meat on the skinny side in order to weld to it. And then when I set up the first one, I made a mark. You can't really see it, but there's a mark on there. So that's a reference too. So all I do is I make a cut, loosen this a tiny bit, twist it, push it until this line lines up and that line lines up. Cut it again. Real quick and simple. This took me less than 5 minutes to cut all these guys out. I got a fresh blade on my chop wheel. If you don't have one of these things, you're gonna be sitting there for quite a while with a grinder. These things are definitely worth it. Bunch of time saved, but I gotta go ahead. I'm gonna clean all these guys up and it should give me a nice start. I still need one more straight cut piece though in order to line up a straight cut with a straight cut because that's my 9. I hope this all makes sense. It all makes sense in my brain, but if I'm not really good about talking about what I got going on here, but hopefully you guys understand. If you don't, ask me a question. I'll gladly explain it in more detail. Went ahead and I took the cold air intake section of it out so I could weld on that HD clamp. That's just what I got done doing. Looks pretty good. Good enough for me. This is really hot right now, but I just needed to weld that guy on so I know kind of like what I'm aiming for, you know, because if I'm just guessing, you don't know. So yeah, I want to go from here to here. Just got to fill in the blank. So I'm going to give that a little bit of time to cool down, and then I'll bolt it back on, and then I'll start laying out all my cleaned up pie cuts here. Hi. So this is what I came up with here. Obviously just a bunch of pie cuts. I kept lining them up, marking where they wanted to kind of come together, and then I went ahead and tack welded them. And then I got the clamp on the end of it there. So I just got to make sure that this fits here. What I'm gonna do right now. It's still a little toasty. So just goes like that. Like that. Take my clamp. Stop it. Stay. No, stay. See, I don't have the rubber gaskets in there right now. This is obviously all just mock-up. There we go. Am I in? No, why not? What is going on? Stay. Okay, this is Vol. I had this. Let me take the pin out of my mouth. You know what's gonna be awesome about this is once it kind of goes together, I don't have to pull it back apart. So I absolutely have to. There we go. Stay. Get my finger out of the way. There. Oh. Pin in. Then obviously a clamp will go right here, but kind of tilt this down, kind of put it where it wants. See, that's what's nice about these HD clamps, it gives you a little bit of wiggle room. Cool. Now all I gotta do is like completely finish weld this thing up. So that's gonna be forever. I'll show you like when that's done. my time, and I'm super pleased with the results. I mean, I'm not saying this is perfect, but you guys, I did not know how to TIG weld 2 years ago. Like, I bought that Eastwood TIG 200 that I have right there, and just picked it up every chance I got, and you know what? This looks awesome to me. Like, I'm really excited for this. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna test fit it again, and then I'm gonna clean it up. I can't decide if I wanna paint it black or if I wanna paint it that, the same color the engine is, that bronze color. Probably black. I think black would be nice, but yeah, you guys, this is awesome. I'm excited for this. Went ahead and I threw it in just to, make sure everything was good to go after putting a ton of heat to this thing, but it's good. I mean, I got wiggle room on this end because the gaskets are not in there, so when the engine has a little bit of vibration, like that's kind of where that's going to be taken up, plus that guy there. But I'm torn about what color to paint it. I don't know. I'm gonna go bronze first. If I don't like the bronze, then I'll paint over it black. But I think the bronze is gonna look cool because it'll be like bronze, black, bronze, black, black. I'm gonna take this off and I'm gonna paint it all the way up to the weld edge here, and the weld edge there. So I think it'll look good. Yeah. So yeah, let me take that off. As you can see, I already kind of scuffed it up and cleaned it all up. Just gotta wipe it down. Get to painting. Installed. I went ahead and I painted this end crinkle black, and then like I said, I went with the bronze for that. And of course, I scratched it up a little bit, putting it in, hitting the bar, trying to get at the angles that it needed to be for it to. And that was kind of a pain. I'm not gonna lie. The way that this sets up, because it can't. In order to get that clamp on there, it's so tight. Like the rubber. I got it. But I struggled, and I came up with some new profanities while I was doing it. But it's on, and it looks awesome. It's way better than just having some silicone couplers and stuff like that. Just adds a little touch of custom to it. So very pleased. Looks cool. And there we go. One more thing checked off the list before I go on power tour, which is, I believe I said 22 days away. Pretty sure it's 22 days away. Anyway. Pick up yourself a TIG welder. Get TIG welder. If you've ever been curious like I was so scared to get into it, and now that I'm like into it, I'm not saying like I'm completely good at it, but like good enough to do stuff on my own car, and it's a ton of fun to do. Like projects like this, one day's worth of work, and you got a nice cool custom intake tube that you're completely proud to show off. I got a lot more things I got to knock off my list, so subscribe because I got a lot more coming up. Because like I said, I got a lot more things I gotta do, including interior. So I think that's what I'm gonna do next is build a back seat and upholster that. I think I have a plan for that. I think all my stuff's supposed to come in early this next week. It's the weekend now. I don't know when you guys watch this. Anyway, hit that like, hit the subscribe. Got a lot more coming up. Thanks, guys.